All right, welcome back to the channel, everybody. And let's see who shows up, if anybody, for one. But I'm just going to open this up on my laptop here. So yeah, as you can see, it is almost my birthday. I figured I would just kind of chill, hop on here and see if anybody's on. If not, no big deal. But Jamie's working, I'm sitting at home, and so I'm just gonna have a couple of early birthday beers and say hi to whoever pops by. So I like Miller Genuine Draft. That's just me. It's a good vegan beer. What do you do? I see a couple people have joined. Go ahead and announce yourself so I know who you are. I've got nothing planned for this, guys. I never do. So by all means, smash the like button and then say something so that we can have a conversation. Otherwise, it's just going to be me sitting here drinking some beer by myself while you watch, and that's going to be depressing and sad and kind of hilarious, though. But yeah, I've got a couple things I could ramble about, but we'll see what happens with the chat first. So I'll give a couple more minutes, see if anybody else joins here, and yeah, kind of go from there. Hey, how you doing? I don't know how to pronounce your name, but hi. Thanks for joining. Where are you watching from today? Thanks. It's actually not my birthday just yet, so I will clarify that, but I appreciate it. My birthday is actually a week from today, but I work during the week, and I'm actually going to be doing some dog sitting next weekend. So I'm going to be staying at somebody else's house and hanging out with their dog overnight for a couple of nights next week, including on my birthday. So kind of, doing my little celebration this week. And I don't really do much, but for Maui, oh, that's cool. I would much rather be in Maui right now. Although it's pretty warm here. I'm over in Nova Scotia, and it's warm. Definitely some good summer vibes. So. But again, I don't really have a whole lot planned here. What I've been doing is just kind of like, I've been off of YouTube now for a couple of weeks at least. I don't even know when my last video was. I just kind of lost motivation. With everything that was going on and, everything that's happening around the world and in the US, I just kind of lost motivation to socialize and stuff. So I've just kind of taken a little bit of a break to refresh and recharge, but feeling good now. So what is for dinner? Earlier, I actually didn't eat any dinner yet, but earlier today we had some Beyond Burgers and fries and onion rings. Not at all a healthy meal, but we've been doing some intermittent fasting recently, Jamie and myself. So she's been doing like 18-hour fasts and then eating over 6 hours. And I just started things out at like 16-hour fasts and eating over 8 hours. So usually we have that first big meal at like lunchtime, and that's what we did today. We had the Beyond Burgers, so still pretty full actually, and that was like, well, yeah, I mean, we're talking 7 hours ago now. That was a big meal. I just had like another like a little vegan protein bar since then, but today technically my like the fasting would include not drinking beer and such, but I'm gonna go past my little window of opportunity and have a few this evening. But I'm not going to stay on here after the first couple or so and make a fool of myself. What did you have today? Just curious what everybody else is eating for their dinner these days. I've been eating a lot of been eating a lot of healthier stuff. We do eat a lot of homemade and prepped foods, but we just got some Beyond Burgers on sale. They were pretty cheap, so figured, what the hell. And weekends, we don't worry about it too much. As long as it's vegan, that's all I care about. That's the only thing that's never going to change for me. I will always eat plant-based, but sometimes I eat healthier than others. That's fine. You guys like my vintage mug? This is probably from, I'm going to say the 80s, probably late 80s or something like that. Picked it up at a yard sale for like maybe 50 cents or something. We had a lot of nice vintage mugs and stuff in our bar. Can't wait to actually buy a house. Still just chilling in an apartment right now while we save up to buy a house. But when I do buy a place, I'm definitely gonna have like some kind of a chill den / bar room. That's gonna be good. I'd like to get a little built-in bar as well. It's not even that we drink very much at all, like we don't. But, and I know this live stream probably, makes it look a little bit different, but do we collect vintage mugs? Well, we don't really have like a collection or anything, but we've got like just a few, like a good, kind of maybe half a dozen or a dozen, like for the bar specifically. Other than that, we don't really collect vintage mugs so much as if we see one that we think is really cool, we will typically pick it up. But we kind of go through like a little bit of a purge cycle every now and then, so that we don't, allow things to build up too much. And if we like something, we use it, and we have a place for it, great. Sometimes it doesn't work out that way, and we end up getting rid of it again. But we thrift everything pretty much. Like we never buy anything new. Pretty much never buy anything new except for things like, running shoes or essentials. But so it's really no big loss if we end up just donating, something back that we've bought previously. That's actually what we do the most. We'll buy things, we thrift things, and then we'll use it for a while, or maybe it doesn't get used, and then we'll just donate it back to either the same place we bought it from or another place. And yeah. So what did you have for dinner today? I really want to be able to pronounce your name, but I don't think I can. We'll just call you Person A. Or if you can, like, in the comments, spell it out, like kind of how that would be pronounced, that would be cool. I'll apologize if you hear a bunch of crows in the background, basically living on the backside. Ivlani, is that it? Okay, that's kind of what I was thinking, but didn't want to butcher it, so. But yeah, you'll probably hear a bunch of birds and crows in the background. Where I live in this apartment building, I'm on the back side of it, and there's like this kind of wooded area, and we've got tons of crows and other birds that kind of nest like right outside of our window. So that's why one of our cats is always in this window just watching, just I think hoping to be able to get outside and catch a meal, but it's not going to happen. All right, so Ivlani, what did you have for dinner today? Just curious. Probably something healthier than Beyond Burgers, I'm guessing. Also, another thing that we've been doing lately which I think is really cool. I mentioned that we go thrifting a lot. Um, since most things have been closed down, we we obviously haven't been going like to stores or going to things like theaters and stuff like that. But there are some drive-ins that are open back up. So we've gone to a drive-in theater the last couple of weekends on Sunday nights. Actually, I think one might have been a Saturday, but yeah, we went and we would just watch like vintage movies on the big screen, and I always like that. It makes for a late night. I'm not used to being up past like 10 or 11 o'clock, but and we're not getting home, and because it's like an hour away, the one that we like to go to. So it means that we don't actually get home and in bed till like 2:30, which is way past my bedtime. But it's still something fun to do, maybe once a week or something like that. Yeah, that's right. It's only noon there. Exactly. Okay. Yeah. Yeah, because yes, Maui, Hawaii. That's right. And so it's 7 here. So there's a 7 hour difference. I thought there was a 6 hour difference between here and Hawaii, but there may be um, like that you guys don't do the daylight savings time the same way we do it or something like that. So sometimes it's 7 hours. But green tea with soy milk until dinner time. Yeah. So that's the thing that I'll do in the mornings as well. So I usually don't eat until noon, but in the mornings I'll have green tea as well. Yeah, you guys don't do daylight savings. Exact. Okay, that makes sense. That makes sense. I mean, you don't need it, right? Like Hawaii's pretty much about the same probably year round, I would imagine. Because yeah, you're north of the equator, but not nearly as north as we would be. I'm like, I'm pretty much halfway between the equator and the North Pole. There's a town that's only about an hour away, and it is exactly at the 45-degree um, latitude. So yeah, I'm just below that. But cool. Well, I mean, thanks for being here. Again, I really don't have anything prepared too much. I was just gonna ramble a little bit, unless people showed up. So feel free to ask anything anything that pops up. Anything vegan related. I don't know if you watch any of my running videos. Anything running related would be fine as well. Speaking of that, I've just kind of started getting back into the running a little bit. So I was definitely. It's been a long road getting back into the running. It was tough last year. I was training for the half marathon, a sub 140 half, and ended up like completely screwing up my ankle and Achilles. So it's been several months trying to feel comfortable with running regularly, but I did get back out for 3, 4 runs this week. So how old is my dog? I actually personally don't have a dog. I've got two 15-year-old cats, but the dogs that I look after are actually like that's what I do as a little side business. The one that I run with, yeah. So the one that I run with, there's Aloe, and I run with her every other Friday, I think it is, and she's about 5. And then there's another one that I walk every weekend, and he's 4 or 5 as well. We'll jog on the trail every now and then. But the beagle that I'm going to stay with next weekend, I think she's like 10 or 11, which is, getting a little bit old for a beagle. I don't think their lifespan is usually much more than like 10 or 12 years. But yeah, it's a pretty cool like side gig. I mean, I make, I make my salary through the week working full time, and I've been working from home for the last 4 months, which is kind of cool. But then in evenings and weekends, I go and I do this thing where I'm just hanging out with dogs or taking them for walks or whatever. And it's been a pretty good, little side hustle, to be honest. I've made a decent amount of money at it. Well, that's one down. You enjoy my walks and runs. Yeah, I like it. It is a good For me, it's just I need to be exercising. Like I always feel better when I'm in good shape. Sorry, just pouring here. I always feel better when I'm in good shape, and when I'm being really active, and to be able to do that with animals is really cool. Like to be able to actually get paid to go for walks and runs with dogs is just amazing. Like I never really thought that that would be something I would do. I never really thought about it, but last year around probably May, I was like, hey, you know what? Now that I'm living back in this slightly more populated town, I should just do this thing on evenings and weekends because I'm always out walking or running anyway. So surely there's got to be people who would pay money for this. And it just kind of took off. You know, you prefer dance workout and gyms? Yeah. If I had any coordination whatsoever, dancing workouts, that stuff's no joke. Like, major kudos to anybody who does that because there's um, there's some pretty cool stuff. We do have a couple of pretty good gyms around here. I've never been like a member at a gym or anything like that, but I've got a couple of friends who go. Now, of course, they're still closed now, or maybe they've recently opened up. I'm not sure due to the COVID thing, but I've thought about it, but I dedicated so much time towards running that I figured I probably wouldn't get my money's worth out of a gym because I was really, especially in 2018 when I was doing the year-long run streak and I ran every day, I really didn't have time for anything else, training for 2 marathons and stuff. But I don't know. I do want to add other types of workouts and stuff into my fitness regimen. And so I can see myself getting into a gym probably like maybe after summer, maybe getting into the fall. Like I know you don't really have to deal with this in Maui, but um, here in Canada, obviously the winter, it's cold, it's crappy outside, and most people don't go out as much and do as much winter running. They cross train and do other things. So maybe I might join a gym for the winter. I'm not sure. You do horseback riding on the beach? Right on. I personally, I mean, I'm not gonna put you down for that or anything. Personally, I wouldn't go horseback riding. It's just, it's not for me. But I think having a connection with an animal and being out in a beautiful place like Maui and being on the beach, that would be pretty cool. But the only time I was ever horseback riding, I was like probably 8 years old, and my sister, who was 6 at the time, because she's 2 years younger than me, she got like thrown from the horse, and it was my uncle's, and she like fell down and broke a rib, and then obviously we got kind of scared that maybe it wasn't a good idea, but then I ended up getting up on the horse and I felt like, pretty good about it. I was feeling pretty confident. And then the horse threw me down and I ended up like smashing my collarbone. So, yeah, suffice it to say, neither of us ever got on a horse again. We realized at a very early age that it just wasn't for us. And I mean, now, of course, it's not something that I would do, but yeah, that was the only time I've ever done it as a kid. I did not like smashing my collarbone. They belong to family. You don't weigh much. Yeah, I mean, I'm sure that, like, I've seen lots of. I'm not an expert, so I can't say for sure, but I've seen lots of things where it looks like horses that are ridden regularly and stuff like that. They do tend to have like back problems and stuff. But again, I'm not an expert. For me, I'm not gonna bash you for that. But it's just something that I wouldn't do because I just feel like, it doesn't. For me, that falls into like that sort of feeling that I would be exploiting the horse, and I just wouldn't want to do that, you know. But but yeah, I believe you that you love the horses and stuff. Like, you know, again, this isn't anything against you or about you. It's just me saying what my opinion on that would be. But 37 years, wow, that's cool. That's really cool. I actually, so these pre-birthday drinks are actually in celebration of my 37th birthday. So you've been vegan longer than I have been alive. That is amazing. I imagine that things 37 years ago and even 27 years ago, 17 years ago were very different. Um, you know, I don't know what you typically eat in the run of a day. I'm assuming that, you know, you've probably got access to some quality, you know, produce and stuff, and some quality fruits and healthier raw type foods in Maui. But I don't know if you've always been there. But yeah, I can only imagine, because even like 5 years ago, well, I went vegan 6 years ago, but I would say that even like 3, 4 years ago, there were nearly as many things on the market. Like, it was just crazy, you know, like it's amazing to me now. Like, I can go into the grocery store, in any grocery store, even here in like small town Eastern Canada, and find basically any vegan product that I would want. Maybe not the same brand that's everywhere else, but I can find, you know, pretty much anything. And even like 3 or 4 years ago, well, 5 or 6 years ago, there there was basically only a couple brands in our grocery stores. Like, yeah, it's crazy. You were 12 when you stopped eating meat. Cool, cool. I unfortunately was one of those kids that grew up in a household where it was like, you know, meat and potatoes, and that's just what we did, right? It was just, that was the food that was on the plate, and you ate your dinner, right? So you mostly ate salads and fruit off the trees. Yeah, see, that's really awesome. And had I lived in like and grown up in an area where that was a possibility, like, because I love fruit and I always have, even as a kid, but we didn't always have an abundance of it in the house because, well, number one, like, good produce and good fruit isn't always available here in Canada, and it's not cheap. So like, you know, it would be a treat to get something other than apples or oranges or bananas or something like that. Um, yeah, it would be pretty cool to be able to just to walk around and grab fruit off the trees. Like, I would love to live in a place like that. And actually, that reminds me of a video I watched, I don't know, quite a while ago now, because it was probably when I was first going vegan, or around that time, maybe a little bit afterwards. But I remember watching one of like Durian Rider's old videos, or maybe it was on Freely's channel or something like that, where they're just biking along and they're just foraging mangoes off the side of the road. Like, they're just, oh, okay, well, let's stop here and grab these 6 mangoes and put them in our bag and then go park down there and eat them. Like, to be able to live in an area where you could just be out on any kind of a walk or bike ride or anything and just grab whatever you want to eat from the side of the road, like, that would be amazing. I've always said that I would love to live somewhere like that. But unfortunately, mangoes are very expensive here. I'm lucky if I can get a mango for under $2. Like, that is crazy to me to think that. And there are people just grabbing them out of the ditch. Only been to Canada once, you say? Right on. Yeah, I've lived here all my life, and out on the East Coast. I've only visited the US a couple times. And it was for work. I've been to Phoenix and I've been to Chicago. And then, of course, any like connecting airports, but that doesn't even count. Because I feel like if you're inside an airport, you're not actually visiting an area. Like, that's ridiculous. But Quebec and Montreal, yeah, okay. So I really like Quebec City, and Montreal's pretty cool too. So I'm not that far away from there, but Byron says 23:15 p.m. here. That's because you're in the UK. We would just say it's 11:15 p.m. But thank you, Byron. Just getting in the birthday congratulations in case it's Saturday and not Sunday. Didn't want to miss it. Well, actually, okay. So as I was telling Ivlani here, my birthday actually isn't until next week. It's a week from today, but because I'm going to be doing a house sitting, dog sitting kind of a job next week from Thursday through Sunday, and I'm not even going to be home, I just picked myself up a few birthday beers today, and actually, Jamie picked them up for me as my little birthday gift, pre-birthday gift, and I don't drink very often, but I just figured I would, have a few to celebrate. Sitting here by myself in my living room while the cat's over there in the window, but I didn't really want to just sit here and drink alone, so I figured I'd live stream and say hi to you folks. Yeah, but thank you, Byron. I appreciate that. Getting back to the Quebec and Montreal thing, I visited both of those cities, Quebec City and Montreal, quite a few years ago now, probably almost 20 years ago now, or maybe even more than 20 years. And yeah, it was more than 20 years ago, but I got to see one of the last Montreal Expos baseball games. They were the only other Canadian baseball team. Got to see one of their games and visit some of the just really cool places in Quebec and Montreal City. Inside the old gates, like inside the old walls in the old cities. It was really cool seeing some of like the really old churches with the good architecture, even though I'm not a Christian, I'm not anything like that. Like the religious side of it didn't mean anything to me, but seeing the architecture and just seeing the beauty of the buildings was just incredible. Like one of them that I was in, and I can't remember if it was in Quebec City or in Montreal, but the church was like, super tall, and there was like a 20-foot gold statue out front, like, but perched up on the outer wall, and on the inside was like a marble carving of like Mary holding Jesus in her arms. And like, again, while that doesn't mean anything to me from a religious or spiritual standpoint, just seeing the artistic ability and just seeing that amazing architecture and art was like breathtaking. I've got mad respect for anybody who can make something so beautiful, right? Yeah, those cathedrals are amazing. And yeah, so it would have been a Catholic church, and I was brought up, again in a small town. I think the local church where I went to Sunday school was like a Baptist church or something, and my parents never forced me to go to anything. When I was a kid, they kind of put me in it to, I think probably because they figured that's what they should do, but I realized as a kid that it wasn't for me, and they were like, okay, that's fine, you don't have to go. But I don't have anything I don't have anything against people who are religious or who do believe in any of those stories at all. I'm not a fan of, the religious zealots who like really just try to, pull you in and condemn you otherwise, right? So, but so you study all religions, now you go to the Buddhist, yeah. So, and that's the thing, like I have no problem with appreciating various belief systems, because I think when it comes down to it, we all do kind of feel that same sort of golden rule type of deal, just be kind and compassionate and do unto others and whatnot, right? So, I think it's all just brands of the same thing. It's basically how to be a good human, right? So, and Buddhism definitely has a lot of the same philosophies that I would hold, as far as the treatment towards animals, and like you said, you learn how to cook vegan there. I mean, that's amazing. Byron, you say non-religious, but would love to see the Sistine Chapel, the one that Michelangelo painted. Exactly. That's the thing. Like, it doesn't even matter to me if that's a religious building or a religious experience. To me, that would be such an artistic experience that I could just appreciate somebody's art. I'd love to see it myself. Definitely. Produce Not Pills. Ashley, hey, what's up? Where have I been hiding? I have been hiding in in my living room mostly because I'm working from home for the last 4 months, but just have felt really unmotivated well, not even unmotivated. I actually filmed a video about this and I never uploaded it, but I have quite honestly just felt overwhelmed with the constant flow of just shit that's going on in the U.S. and around the world, and especially compounded by this whole COVID thing that I just didn't even know where to start. So I just had to take some time and just be like, no, I need to just stay away from all of this, because if I put too much energy into each topic, then I'm just going to get overwhelmed. I'm going to get burnt out, and I knew that it wasn't going to be good for my sensory overload. Exactly, Byron, and that's what it's been. I've still been active on my Facebook account and stuff like that. Trying to get my friends and family to understand why things like the Black Lives Matter movement is happening and things like that, but I didn't have the ability to get on YouTube about it and everything else. So, yeah. How am I and Jamie? Do we both have good immune systems? Yeah, I mean, we're doing well. I've been working from home since mid-March, so 4 months working from my living room, hanging out with my cats. It's gonna be weird going back to the office, I gotta be honest with you. Which there's no plan just yet. So I might be able to work remotely basically whenever I want to, which is kind of cool. Nice perk. So I feel really grateful that I'm in a position where I'm able to do that, because I know a lot of people have struggled through this, and like, trust me, I'm not blind to that. I feel very, very lucky and grateful, like I say, that I've been able to continue to work and do my job remotely. But it has been weird. It's been a weird adjustment, and we've just been hanging out and basically keeping to ourselves. And I go out and do all the grocery shopping and whatever, and we do a lot of online ordering, so we can just go pick it up. They'll just bring it out, put it in your trunk, and drive away. Things like that. Just trying to take advantage of as many of those things that are in place as possible. And it's been kind of strange not seeing some of my friends. But I think the weirdest thing for me, honestly, is that there's been essentially no running season. And even though I'm still just kind of getting back from injury and stuff like that, there's a whole group of people that I normally see in the running community that, even though I'm not really friends with them, I see them at all the different events, and all these events are canceled. So, I don't get to see any of these people that have been inspirations for me throughout my running journey over the last 3 years or so, or 4 years. And, it's weird. Like, I would normally be doing a group run with a group of, well-seasoned veteran runners on every Sunday morning, going out and doing our 90-minute run, and don't get to see any of them. A lot of those guys are like, in their 60s and 70s, and so they are taking it a lot easier and a lot safer. So for me to be going out and socializing with them and running on the trail side by side is not a good idea. I don't want to be responsible for anybody else's misfortune. I feel pretty safe on my own, but okay, so I'll get caught up on a couple comments here. Ruby Soho says, happy birthday to you. Well, thank you very much. TJB says, I literally can't hear you. Okay. I don't know what to do. How is the audio for everyone else? I'm hoping it's all right, because I've been speaking at the same volume for the last 34 minutes. Okay. I'll just talk. Okay. Ruby says, I can hear you. Audio's fine. Sorry, TJ. I'm hoping that I'm speaking loudly enough. Nobody else has mentioned it. So maybe just turn up your volume. I'll try to speak a little bit more clearly. As far as the happy birthday wishes, thank you guys. I do appreciate it. My birthday isn't actually until next weekend, which I mentioned a little bit earlier, but I'm celebrating it today because I'm going to be working next week and I'm going to be house sitting, dog sitting from Thursday to Sunday. So I'm going to be in someone else's home while they're away with their dog, taking care of them. And I'm just going to be by myself on my birthday with this dog and just kind of chilling in somebody else's house. So I figured this evening, you know what? It's a Saturday night, even though it's a week early, I'll just sit down and chill and have a few and see who is online that wants to chat. So that's what I'm doing. Dog sitting is a great birthday. I've really enjoyed it so far. Okay, just some of these comments here. Ashley, you say you miss my streams. They were your social life. How could you do this to me? I'm so sorry. I apologize. I will do everything in my power to make it up to you. Byron says, got 11 days off work. First holiday since September. Don't know what to do with yourself. Went out once. That's cool. 11 days. Well, take like 10 days of sleep and then 1 day to clean up your apartment, and honestly, that's good enough for me. How's Jamie? Love her videos too. Jamie's doing well. Thanks for asking, Ruby. It's been a weird few months for her as well, and obviously earlier this year, I think that she's made a video about this, so it's not a secret. But like with losing her mom earlier this year, it's been a tough start, but she she's coming around. She's doing okay now, and she's back at she's working again, and just I think life goes on, and we're just trying to get through this whole COVID thing as best we can. Here in Nova Scotia, I have to be honest, it's been not so bad because we haven't had a high number of cases. We haven't had a lot of issues, but still just trying to play it safe and be smart about it, right? Chef Ian says, "Yo, hey Ian, man, how you doing? I haven't seen you in a while. Haven't really. I don't know. Man? I feel bad about this, but are you still making videos? Because I remember watching some of your recipe videos before and thinking this guy is legit. This guy knows what the hell he's doing. So that's awesome." Ashley asks, am I good at giving advice? Do people usually come to me for advice? I'm good at giving advice. I don't know if that means that my advice is always good. I don't know if that makes any sense. Quick poll. What is everybody's favorite beer, if that's something that you drink? Just curious. Personally, obviously I always check barnivore.com to make sure that everything is on the up and up. I'm going to put that in the comments here as a really good resource. But barnivore.com, you can see if any kind of an alcoholic beverage that's in their database, which is pretty extensive, is vegan friendly or not. Miller Genuine Draft, I really like MGD. I find it's got a really nice flavor. Ian says, doing good, but stopped making real cooking videos a while back. Moved to Switzerland. Cool. Man, I really, I enjoyed kind of getting to know your online presence and knowing that early part of the journey there. I'd be thrilled to see some new videos and kind of see what life in Switzerland is like. That's cool. Still cook for a living though. That's awesome. Do you get to cook exclusively vegan stuff, or do you get to cook, or because you're a chef? I get it. Like, I know that maybe you're in a situation, especially if you're working for like a high-end restaurant, where you have to prepare different types of meals. But if you get to cook vegan stuff and show the world how great that is, that's a really cool talent, and you're doing the world a service. That is for sure. Ashley asked, am I still consistent with running? So I've been trying to get back into it. I've had a few false starts for sure. Last year when I was training for that sub 140 half marathon, and I injured my ankle and Achilles, That put me out for a long time. That was several months. And then the beginning of this year was just really rough with just everything that happened, with family issues and stuff like that. But then kind of getting back into things a little bit over the last couple of months, and had a really good week this week, getting out for 4 runs. And I feel good about it. Like I'm able to run pain free right now. It's been tough to be super motivated about it, only because like all the races are canceled, like everything's shut down. So it's hard to stay super motivated when there's no goal race, or there's nothing to train for, right? But just trying to maintain that aerobic fitness and get out there on occasion, and I feel good about what I've been doing. So Ivlani says, "Don't drink. Good for you." And honestly, I mean, I know that I've been sitting here drinking beers and stuff, but like I don't. We don't drink that often. I used to drink a lot when I was younger, among other things, and I realize that's not. It's just not something that I want to have as part of my life on a regular basis, but on occasion. Ashley says favorite beer is water. Yeah, yeah. They are coming out with hot teas and waters. Never liked beer, but those are pretty good. That's interesting that you don't like beer and that like hoppy, yeasty flavor, but that you would like a tea that has hops. Interesting. Ruby says, don't drink beer often, but when I do, I love the seasonal pumpkin beers. Yes, yes. Okay, so my friend Shannon at the Veggie Nut, I don't know if you guys know Shannon and Eddie, but if you don't, go check them out. Go check out the Veggie Nut, Shannon. The Veggie Nuts is their vlog channel, Shannon and Eddie. These two are probably two of my favorite people in the entire world. We've never met in real life, but we've known each other since basically I started my YouTube channel. And they were kind enough one year to send us like a whole big box of goodies from the US that we couldn't yet get here in Canada. And they were able to send me a couple of beer from the US in that box as well. One of them was the Pumpkin beer. And so Ruby, I don't know if you've tried that one, but Pumpkin is amazing. And I wish that we could get it here, because it is the most legit seasonal pumpkin beer. Like, there are a couple I can get around here and they're okay, but this is like next level. This is top notch. Okay. Byron says, booze and cigarettes free for 10 years. Congrats, man. That is a huge accomplishment, and major kudos to you. I quit smoking 7 years ago, so I'm very, very excited about that, and I know how difficult that can be. So like much respect for that. And again, like, as far as the drinking goes, like this is just an occasional thing for me, but yeah, definitely kudos for that, Byron. Ian, you work at a vegetarian cafe, 90% vegan, a little bit of cheese and butter. I get it. I understand. Switzerland is strange with vegan. Okay. I don't know what exactly you mean by that, but do you mean that they are like just not really with it? Like vegetarian's cool, but they're just really weird about the whole vegan thing? Or is it like, I don't know what you mean. Ruby, drink of choice is bourbon straight or tequila with fresh lemon juice and agave shaken with ice. A healthy margarita. Also like tequila with fresh grapefruit juice. That is an interesting mix, but that would be good. I can see why that would be really, really tasty, actually. I don't drink a lot of bourbon. I have enjoyed a couple of bourbons, but to be quite honest with you, I like Jack Daniels. Like, I'm a Jack fan, so if I'm gonna drink a whiskey, it's just gonna be like a Jack and Coke or something like that. And again, it's not something I do often, but I do have a bottle of Jack sitting on my bar just across from me here. So I don't know. I might get into that this evening, but probably not. Do I watch any bulldogs? I don't have any bulldogs that I watch. There is one that's like that I walked once for a friend of mine who has some mobility issues, and I walked her last year, and I think that she is some kind of a bulldog mix, but I'm not really sure, to be quite honest with you. It was almost a year ago now that I walked her, so um, yeah. But no, I basically, so you're basically telling us you're an alcoholic, John? Yeah, exactly. No, but no, my main dogs that I walk and hang out with are a black lab, an Australian shepherd slash husky mix, and a beagle, a golden retriever, and a couple of pugs. Those are like my main clients that I've kind of had for the last almost year, but um, you know, I've worked with a few others as well. Jin Winger says veganism destroys your gut. Sure, sure. So feel free to just, leave or not propagate that BS because I'm not in the mood. I'll be honest with you. I'm just not in the mood for that. I'm here just chilling, having a good time, talking to some friends. I'm not here to, you were vegan for 23 years and all you can tolerate to eat is raw meat? Yeah, all right. Sure. Guess what? You can go away. You're gone. Because I don't have time for that shit. I know they're typically bred and such, but I love bulldogs. I would never get one myself, but they're so silly. Yeah, bulldogs are pretty cute animals. I know that they are typically bred, same as like pugs and stuff. I mean, obviously I don't support breeders and stuff. I know that some of my friends, some of my clients, some of my family are all in that in some way or another, and I'm not happy about it, but at the end of the day, I'm here to take care of the dogs, so that's what my focus is, and I try to educate where I can, but, Ruby says, been vegan for over 5 years, never had any gut issues. Yeah, I've been vegan for 6 years. It was actually right around my birthday. I don't know what the date was or anything like that, but I always just say that my vegan anniversary is somewhere right around my birthday, so we'll call it 6 years in a week. And I've never had any gut issues. The first couple of months when I was, because probably somewhere around May is when I made the decision that, yeah, I'm going to be vegan. Like, I know that. And I wish that I would have just done it overnight. I really do, but no regrets, right? Like, it is what it is. I did take a couple of months to transition and get every animal product out of my system, and especially stuff that I already had like in the household, you know what I mean? I didn't feel right about throwing food out. But I had been vegetarian for already a year prior to that. So it was really just about using up the last few things that was in the household. But when I went vegan in 6 years ago, like maybe those first couple of months where I started introducing more fiber into the diet, or like started trying a couple of new like meat analogs or something like that, like some other faux stuff. Some of that didn't really sit well, but I mean, that's just because I introduced something new to my stomach. That makes sense, that when you're eating a certain way for your entire life, and then all of a sudden you eat something completely different, and you introduce all this new gut flora and everything else, there's going to be an adjustment period, right? So other than those first couple of months where I never really ever felt full, I did feel maybe a little bit bloated for the first couple of weeks, but I think that's because I was also drinking like, these big smoothies and stuff, like multi-banana smoothies. after never ever doing that in my life, thinking that, oh, I can just do this and be really healthy. You know, there's a lot, right? Like there's a lot of factors why you would maybe not feel like perfect in those first couple of weeks while you're transitioning. But after those couple of months, when everything was like, okay, well, here I am, I'm vegan, and I'm never eating another animal product ever again. Well, I've never had a stomach issue, and this may be a little bit TMI, but I'll tell you anyway. Like, I would, I would, when I was eating meat and potatoes and eating takeout burgers and eating all this crap and like processed food and stuff all the time, like there were days that I wouldn't even use the bathroom. You know what I mean? Like there'd be days that I wouldn't even need to go, number two. Or if I did, it was a process, right? Like that was not good digestion. And then now everything's good, right? Like there's no problems. So for anybody to say that they have gut problems as a vegan, and especially that person who said they were vegan for like 23 years or something like that, and now can only eat raw meat, I mean, that's just ridiculous. All right, on some of these comments. Yeah, cured your gut issues going vegan. Perfect health here, says Ivlani. If someone can only digest raw animal flesh, you should be really frightened. Yeah, exactly. Um, yes, Vegan Outreach, really cool. Go check them out on Twitter for sure. Thanks, Byron. That's a good link to post. Yeah, 300 vegans here. Lots have been vegan for decades. Well, yeah, Ivlani says she's been vegan for 37 years. I mean, that's longer than I've been alive, so that's amazing. Um, Probably if you're eating too many raw fruits and veggies, some people have tummy trouble with raw veggies. Yeah, and that was, I think, a part of it. Like I went from eating the standard Western diet to like, okay, well, let's go all in and eat these like massive smoothies and all this raw stuff. And I mean, it was a shock to the system. So of course it wasn't going to feel perfect right away. But now I can eat high raw, especially in the summertime. I'll do that. When here in Canada, produce and fruits and veggies and stuff are much more affordable and you can actually get quality fruit. I'll eat a lot higher raw in the summertime and no problems at all. Probiotics are important, sauerkraut, gherkins, tempeh, etc. I actually don't eat any of those things, but yes, probiotics are important for sure. Scary when people have magazines in their bathroom. I agree with that. You should not be able to sit there and read a 4-page article. Agreed. Once every 3 days, now twice a day. Yeah, I mean, without getting into too much detail, yeah, it's at least twice a day. I mean, there's no hardship, shall we say? Like if you have to exert energy or like burn like crazy calories to use the bathroom, you're doing something wrong. You should be eating something completely different. But yeah, only if you've got issues, John. Just pouring myself another one here. If you don't need the help, leave your body alone. Yeah, you're talking about the probiotics. Yeah, I mean, that's one of those things like, if it's not broke, don't fix it kind of deal. For sure. Well, I think we killed the chat talking about sitting on the toilet. Thanks, everyone. I appreciate that. How long have I been on here? I've been on here almost an hour. Jeez. Crazy. So we got people as far west as Maui. We've got people in the UK and Switzerland. So that's really cool. You guys are up late. Ivlani's just to basically get about to eat some lunch. I'm betting at no time in the last 10,000 years have we lived on just raw meat. Yeah, I would agree with that. Poop talk is the best talk. How do you handle going to family or friend gatherings? Do you bring a vegan dish that you can share with everyone, or do you eat before you go? Kind of expecting that you wouldn't be able to eat there. So that's a good question. I'm going to be honest, over the last few years, I have essentially not taken part in any kind of family or friend food gathering where, there's going to be animals being eaten in front of me. I just, it's not like I've ever taken the Animal Liberation Front pledge that I wouldn't be part of that, but there's only been a few times, a handful of times in the last 6 years where I've actually been in a situation where people were eating animals around me. And I do that because I want to make it very well known that, it's not something that I'm going to partake in. I don't want to be a part of it. Now, there have been a couple of exceptions. If we're visiting family that we almost never see, like, if we're traveling to the other end of the province to visit, like, Jamie's family or something like that, we can't expect those folks who are hosting us in their home to not go about their normal lifestyle. We'll bring our own food. That makes sense. Or if I go, there's been a couple of times that I've gone, and a few of my friends and we've rented a cottage on a lake in the summertime and just spent a week at this cottage. I just bring all my own food and stuff, and of course they're doing their own thing and, grilling up whatever there is to grill. To me, those are situations where, as uncomfortable as it makes me, I also recognize that it's an opportunity. It's an opportunity to just exemplify how easy it is to be vegan and just be one of the guys hanging out at this cottage and, having a week of just kind of chilling and partying and water sports and whatever else. And, I know that I've changed a lot of minds, or at least changed a lot of perception in those times where I've done that. So I don't really know what the answer is to that question, but typically I'm not in that situation. And if I'm in that situation, I have a plan to go there where I'm going to be the example. And like when I'm at the cottage with the guys, I don't bring it up. I just go there and I do my thing. People are inevitably going to ask me, well, what are you eating? What's that? What's this? Like, what are you having today? And I just show them and I share that with them. And as a result, two of my friends who have been in that situation with me on a couple of occasions are now eating primarily plant-based. So, it's tough because I will never advocate for like reducitarianism, or flexitarianism. Like, I hate those words, and I hate everything associated with like, I don't want to like not show up for the animals, right? But at the same time, I recognize that mathematically, any reduction is a good thing. I'll never advocate for those things, but I'll accept the reality of the math itself, right? So, while I'd like the world to go vegan overnight, I know that's not going to happen. So what I do is just say, hey, here's what I do, and this is what I'm doing, and you're welcome to have whatever I've got here. I always bring enough. If I am in that situation, I always bring enough that I know I've got enough for myself for the week, plus plenty to go around. So, I guess that's a long-winded answer. Good question. Shouldn't be awkward or embarrassing, indicator of health. Was that hard for my friends and family to accept? During barbecue and outdoor gathering season, I was never really social with that anyway, like super social with that anyway. Jamie and I have been basically like kind of recluses for the last few years. So, I basically, I don't care what people think about it. I'll tell them like, hey, yeah, I'm not gonna bother coming to that. We'll do our own thing, and then, maybe we'll show up afterwards or something. We don't get invited to barbecues, or we don't get invited to, Thanksgiving dinners or Christmas dinners or things like that, because the people know that we don't want any part of that. We'll still visit on the holidays, but we don't want to be there at mealtime, because that to us does not celebrate or accurately reflect the kind of morals that we would celebrate during those times of the year. So, yeah. Was it hard for them to accept? I don't know, because I never really spent a lot of time trying to figure it out. I just said, hey, this is what I'm doing, and you can either like it or not, to be honest. Byron says, link I sent you has got 517 replies to the question, how long have you been vegan? Hundreds have been vegan for decades. Yes, I will save that now, Byron. Thank you. And Ashley, I agree. People do make it way too difficult. Way too difficult, for sure. You just eat, man. Like, you don't have to overthink it. Just eat. Eat enough calories and you're gonna be fine. Like, maybe don't eat a Beyond Burger every day, but like, eat some fruits and vegetables, eat some reasonably whole food stuff, and it's all good. Getting people off the start line is the first step to getting people to the finish line. Yes, I have heard that as a running analogy as well, so that is very true. The Brian inside the head says, happy birthday and peace and love to all. Thanks, man, I appreciate that. Good idea, says Ruby. You can skip the meal time but show up at another time in the day. Yeah, and that's what we do. Like, typically we're not there for Thanksgiving dinner, or we're not there for Christmas Day, but we'll show up on, say, Boxing Day or something, then, the next day. Like, you have someone at work who is eating different because I sat with them as they ate meat and offered them a piece of my vegan sausage roll. Yeah, and that's the thing, like, it's really difficult for me because I'm so adamant about animal rights and animal liberation that, I want to just slap the shit out of anybody who is sitting there eating animals, but at the same time, I recognize that most people just need to know that it's going to be okay, right? Like, we are a very insecure species. Pretty much everything that we do that is just shitty human behavior comes from our own insecurities and not knowing why we're here, what's the meaning of life, and all that shit. And I can get really philosophical about this, but I think most of the biggest crimes in human history happen because we just can't get comfortable with life itself and with differences within life itself. And yeah, a lot of it does happen and stem from the human ego, which is just a crazy problem. So when you show people, hey, this is not difficult at all. You could just have this thing instead of the other thing. That is inevitably going to plant a huge seed in most people. Most people, as soon as they realize it's going to be okay, are going to just, start branching out in their own way and start to grow as individuals. But, Ashley says, John, don't you just love dogs and all their different personalities, even the ones with the flaws? Yeah, dogs are great, honestly. I mean, I've always been a cat person. I've never had a dog of my own. I've always had cats, and I love cats. Don't get me wrong, it's never gonna be with me like a cats versus dogs thing, but over the last year or so, I have come to a new understanding and appreciation for dogs, because they really are just unconditional in every way. You know, they just love life, man. And like even the quote unquote bad dogs, like they're still, you can read them. Like I think you can still understand why they are the way they are. So Ruby says, right, kind of have to meet people where they are. People accepting how horrible meat consumption is means they have to unlearn almost everything they know. It's tough. It is tough. And it wasn't easy for me either. You know, I'm not going to claim that it was. It was difficult for me to accept that I was living counter to my morals for 30 years. Or that I was responsible for thousands and thousands of unnecessary deaths. Like, that was a tough pill to swallow. But at some point, once you realize, wait, it's going to be okay, you can admit that to yourself. And you can move forward, right? Just saw a notification pop up on my screen talking about dogs. I just got an e-transfer for a nice sizable chunk of money from one of my regulars. So they're paid up for a bit. So that's awesome. It's always a bonus when you're live streaming on YouTube and you see a notification pop up on your phone that says, hey, so-and-so has deposited all this money in your account. Cool. Wish you could meet my dogs. You'd enjoy them. Tyler's turning 12. Tegan is 8. They are veterans. Nice. What kind of dogs are they? Just out of curiosity. Byron says, offer him a piece of my vegan sausage roll. Now he uses chickpea juice, aquafaba, instead of eggs. For him, his partner, and their children, they all can't tell the difference. Exactly. You know, and that's the thing. Like, most people are like, they think that it's, you know, they think that this is where they are, right? This is where their diet is. And then veganism is way over here, like off the screen. What they don't realize is that it's this close. Like, there's not that much of a difference, right? Like, it's not that big of a deal. You substitute this with the non-animal version, which is in the same grocery store. It's not difficult. Have I ever shared how I started house and pet sitting? What made me interested in it? Honestly, it was a very compulsive thing. It was a very spur of the moment thing. I moved into this apartment last May, and so if you've been watching for a while, I used to live in a community that was like down by the water, but it's like 20 minutes from here or something, and not at all like a populated area, very, very rural. And then we moved into this apartment last year, and this is a town. I mean, it's still not like a very well-populated area, but the town is like maybe 8,000 people or something like that. So it's like, it's still a very small town, but it's not like a road in the rural area. So moving here, I was like, well, shit, like I'm running every day pretty much. I'm always out walking, like I'm always out. So like, should I just be a dog walker? And I have no idea where the thought came from, other than the fact that I thought I could probably make some money hanging out with animals, doing things that I already do. So why not? So yeah, I started I created my Facebook page for it, and I'll put that in the comments here in case anybody wants to go check it out. But yeah, like I was like, you know what? I'm just gonna do it. I'm just gonna create a page, put up some flyers, like why not? And just see what happens. And if I get like 1 or 2 dog walks every now and then for like 15 or 20 bucks, I mean, you know, it's just extra income. And I just saw it as a way to hang out with some animals, make a little bit extra money, doing something I already enjoy doing while trying to save up for a down payment for a house. And it's like, it took off. I mean, it started, it was kind of like going a little flat line, little blips here and there, and then just all of a sudden just like boom, 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 and now at this point, I'm not really turning people away, but I'm having to like, tell people like, hey, if you want those dates, you're gonna have to like give me some money up front, like book those dates because I have other people asking about those dates. Like, you can't, we can't wait until the dates come and then you tell me, oh, sorry, last minute change. Like, you've got to book that. We've got to do like a 25% or 50% deposit depending on the number because like you're not the only one asking for that. So especially over the summer now that people are kind of getting out of the quarantine here in Nova Scotia, wanting to get out, do some camping. They've had cabin fever for the last few months. So, okay, enough about that. But good question. Thanks for asking. Appreciate it. My good guess is Tyler's a Beagle Heeler mix and Tegan is a Pointer Heeler mix. That's awesome. I love Beagles and I love Pointers. And thousands of chicks out of the system over their lifetime. Yes, I remember you moving about a year ago, and it was a year ago, Byron. Yes, so the thousands of chicks. That's the thing. So, when you go from the difference between standard Western diet and vegetarianism is a smaller difference than vegetarianism to vegan. And I know a lot of people would think that vegetarianism is closer to vegan than the standard Western diet, but when you think about all the victims of dairy and egg industries, I mean, I used to eat a lot of eggs. I used to drink a lot of milk. I can't, I can't even put a number on how many male chicks got ground up at birth because I wanted to eat eggs. Like I don't even know what those numbers are. So for me, it's like I have this part of me that always remembers and always just keeps in the back of my mind that I have been directly responsible for so many deaths that I'll never actually be able to know how many they are. And so that's very, that really helps put things into perspective. And that's, I mean, obviously I will never be not vegan, but anytime I'm ever trying to feel motivation or like put things back into perspective, if I feel like I'm focusing too much on running and not enough on animal rights or something like that, I think about those things and it's like, wow, that's just mind blowing, Yeah, so 8,000 population and have a client base, anyone can do it then? Yeah, it's not a lot of people here, but you have a few people. So that's really all you need. You get those like first 5 core people that call on you regularly and you're good. Because then the word gets out. Then it's a word of mouth then, right? What helps me too though actually is that there's really no one else in this area doing it. Like I have a complete monopoly on it as far as people who are advertising goes. So when I've got my page for the area or being set up on Rover, like, yeah, there's a couple of other people on Rover, but they're like barely even active and have like no reviews, probably don't even get any business from it. So like for me, I'm seeing that I'm essentially the only person in the area providing the service. So, Byron, whenever I talk about my dog business, you think about Mutt Cuts, that van covered in a dog from Dumb and Dumber. That's awesome. That is awesome. Eat Linda McCartney sausages most of the time instead of meat. That's really cool. Family of 7, it's big time, definitely. Real quickly, okay, Ivlani, I have to go now. Thanks very much for popping by. I appreciate the early engagement in this stream. You definitely helped to make this kind of, pick up some steam and go along. I appreciate that. Nice talking to you, and enjoy your beautiful day in Maui. Ruby says, yes, they also put eggs and animal milk in the most random things. Yes, so, okay, I can go to the store, and if I'm feeling like having a bag of chips, I can go to the store and I can get a bag of, say, roasted chicken potato chips. And they have no animal ingredients in them, just like smoke flavor and all this other stuff. But yet, if I want to go get salt and vinegar chips. They have milk powder in them. Like, how does that even make sense? The flavor of chips that has like is based upon apparently an animal has no animal products, but salt and vinegar has milk. Why? Why? It makes no sense. Anyway, yeah, milk. Oh man, that's so annoying. They eat a lot of vegan food. His wife is vegetarian. She stopped eating meat and felt 10 times better. Now can't stomach meat. It just upsets her stomach too much. Well, yeah, and that's what would happen. Like, I can't even think about what would happen if I tried to eat a piece of meat at this point. Like, I never would, but I think about like how my body would even react to that, and I know it would just be terrible. Like, it would just be the worst thing. Okay, guys, I need a 2 minute break here. Stay put. I'm just gonna go. You know, the thing is, you don't actually buy beer, you rent it. So I need to go return a little bit of it, and I'll be right back. Okay. Thanks for sticking around. And I've got Dylan here with me. Maybe I'll try to show her here. Okay, I don't want to like screw up my setup, but yeah, Dylan's next to me. I thought it would be cute to show, but then I realized I would screw that up, so I'm not going to do that. Yeah, more toilet talk, John. Yeah, I can't help myself, you know. But that is the truth about beer. You do not buy it; you rent it. So all from one broken off piece of sausage roll. Mighty oaks from small acorns grow. Yes, that is very true. That is a great, great statement. You've turned their house upside down. They're telling friends and family now. Yeah, that's amazing. Um, you know, it's really cool, like having talked to both of the, I was mentioning a little bit earlier there about two of the guys that I would go to the cottage with and hang out with for those weeks, have both now gone primarily plant-based. And um, I've been talking to both of them recently, and they both live in areas and with family members who are extremely counter to the plant-based lifestyle. But I've got a lot of respect for both of them because they're really holding their own. You know, they're not backing down, and they're not like shying away from it. And it's kind of cool to see. Like, and it's funny when you see people who, like, I've got a few friends, I guess acquaintances more like at this point in time, but like people that I knew, you know, either from a past job or growing up or something like that. That, you know, you're Facebook friends with them or something, and they, you know, have a complete fit over you posting something about veganism and calling out basically everyone, you know, the norm for the bullshit. and you know they blow up and they unfriend you and they go away, and then like a year later or 2 years later they come back and they're like, hey man, just thought I'd, you know, refriend you on Facebook and send you this message, like you were right, and you know, I kind of see things your way and I'm working towards a plant-based lifestyle. So you know, it's always amazing to me to see how often, even when you don't think you're getting through to somebody, you are. Like, you're always planting seeds, you're always making people change their perception, even if it's just a half a degree. And that just grows and grows and grows. Matt, what is up, man? Thank you for popping by. I really appreciate you saying hi. I'm just chilling here. It's my birthday in a week, but I'm going to be away dog sitting and taking care of somebody's beautiful beagle, Becky, in their home for a few days over my birthday. So I'm just chilling here, you know, doing something I don't often do, but sitting here having a few and chatting to some of my fellow plant-based buddies. So thank you for the happy early birthday, and I appreciate you stopping by. So anybody who isn't aware and who cares at all about like running content, plant-based content, or just wants to see a nice guy doing cool things, go check out Matt, go subscribe to his channel. This guy's legit, and he's the kind of runner that I would aspire to be if I had half the talent and anywhere near the motivation he does. Byron says, I always say what I do in the grand scheme of things is irrelevant, but if I can influence a few who influence a few and so on, exactly. It's all exponential, man. It's exponential reach. So I know Ken, he does junk food videos on here, not that you would, but curious. No, I don't know who that is. Ah, shucks, says Matt. Yeah, no worries, man. You are definitely one of the legit folks, and yeah, it's been cool to see how things have progressed and happened on your channel and what's going on in your running world, and yeah, it's always nice. Like I love, that's one of the things I really love about YouTube. Even though, like, I mean, I don't at all give a shit about my popularity on YouTube or whatever. I've never thought about this as a way to, like, you know, make money or anything like that. I've just thought maybe I could influence a few people to go vegan. But it's always cool to see somebody coming in and you get to watch them from that, like, you know, maybe 100 subs to 500 subs to 2,000 subs, and all they're just going like this, right? Like, they're just going off the charts. And Matt, I see really good things for you and your channel, so kudos, man. He's from Canada, so I thought maybe you would. Yeah, no, I don't know. I mean, Ken Domick, does he go by a different name? Like, is there some other, like is there a different name, or is that just what his channel is? I'll check him out for sure. Have I watched, what is that, K-Rocks in the Kitchen? I have not. Last Wednesday was your 7-year vegan anniversary. Awesome, man. I don't have like an exact date, but it was right around my birthday. So every year on July 25th, which is my birthday, I also consider that as being my my vegan anniversary, because it was right around that time. And so this year is 6 years. So I'm really excited about that. Clickbait, says Byron. Yeah, man, of course. Have I influenced anyone with my channel? Is that directed at me, Ashley, or Matt? Because I know Matt's definitely inspired people. Have I influenced anyone with my channel? Yeah, so a few people. I don't really keep track of it, but I know that there's another guy who used to vlog here. He kind of gave up the YouTube thing, but he was hanging out really only a couple hours drive from me for a while, and was vlogging just about every day. And we connected just because I don't even know how, but he came up in my feed one day. But ended up following him, watching his vlogs, and then we've since become really good friends. And yeah, so now he is like, I would say 99% plant-based. There's just some things that he doesn't really worry about too much, especially as somebody who has like super low income. Like if there's, like if he goes somewhere and there's a baked good and there might be eggs in it, he doesn't worry about it too much. But anytime like he does grocery shopping, it's all plant-based and stuff like that. But there's just those few situations where maybe there might be a small percentage of animal products, and so it's. I think that was the biggest influence I've had, only because that person I know grew up in the same area pretty much as me, and grew up on the meat and potatoes thing, and was like very on the opposite end of the spectrum of plant-based when I was watching their vlogs at the beginning. And now they advocate for animal rights and for plant-based eating. So that was kind of cool. That was a success story for sure. Don't check out Ken. His content's pretty useless. Okay, right on. Okay, Rocks in the Kitchen is whole food plant-based, and he follows them. Asked Ken if he finds it weird to eat animal body parts, and he said no. Okay. We've been doing it for thousands of years. Okay, so tradition. Yeah, I don't know. Well, I won't bother with that then. I have to say, these are going down pretty good tonight. And I don't drink very often, but, been on here for 87 minutes. Well, as long as we continue to have some, conversation and ongoing interaction, I'll stay on, because I've got nothing going on for the next probably hour and a half until Jamie gets home from work. Yeah, well, okay, that answers that question. She's working this evening. She'll be home around in about an hour and a half. Matt says, super jealous tuning in at work where drinking is frowned upon. Yeah, I can understand that. Look, man, if I ever make it down to Florida, or if you ever make it to Nova Scotia, or if we ever meet somewhere in the middle, maybe Chicago Marathon or something like that, we'll grab one. We'll grab a cold one, that's for sure. And now, one thing about the whole tuning in at work where drink is frowned upon thing, while I haven't done this yet, technically I do work from home, or have been for the last 4 months. So you could say that this is drinking from work, even though it's outside of work hours, because I work Monday to Friday during the day. So it is possible that it could be conceived, since I've been working remotely, that this is drinking at work. So if anybody from my company is watching this, please don't fire me for this. Byron says, like 2% gelatin and jam, then lots aren't fussed. Getting them involved in the big stuff's what matters. Meat on Sunday lunch, Friday night kebabs, cheese sandwich at work, egg on toast. Exactly. So that's the thing about that friend I was talking about, like there might be cases, but. So yes, I'm definitely drinking in the workplace. I mean, technically I have been working from this very spot for the last 4 months. But I think that outside of business hours, I don't think my living room counts as company workspace. I think that's only Monday to Friday, 8 to 4:30. Then again, I'm on salary, so I don't know. That would imply that you do any work, John. Yeah, thanks, Byron. That's exactly what it would imply. Okay, so I'm just gonna talk about this for 1 sec there, Byron. I will say, and I know this was just a complete joke, so I'm not at all responding in a negative way, but I'll just put it out there that amount of work that I'm able to do in an 8-hour day, by comparison, is probably what most people in my position like prior to me, were doing in about 2 or 3 days. So I could probably take some chill time and even drink a little bit on the job, and I'd still be breaking par, no problem. But anyway, we'll just move on from that. Where's my live chat boyfriend? Says Produce Not Pills, Ashley. Are you talking about the kitties? And yes, I am tooting my own horn there. I feel very confident that I'm doing a great job. I know that I'm recognized. My direct manager, we worked together for a few years before he became my direct manager. So he sees the value that I bring. I see the value that he brings. We have a really good working relationship, and I have a lot of respect for him. He has respect for me. So I've got no worries there. Oh, Race. Yeah, I don't know. I haven't seen Race in a while. I haven't. I mean, I don't even think that Race Lover's real. So it's very possible that that was just a figment of our imagination this whole time, and it didn't even happen. Especially since they delete all of their messages afterwards. So Byron says you work in a shop. You hear that? Yeah, man. It's one of those things. Like it's I am, and to Ashley's point here, or a question. Yeah, I mean, I do feel very grateful. I've got a good situation, and again, I feel grateful that I've been able to work remotely for the last 4 months. But it's it was a lot of crap jobs leading up to this situation, so I've earned it. Matt, got to bounce. Okay, duty calls. Keep it up, buddy. Yeah, thanks, man. Thanks for popping by. I appreciate you just stopping to say hi. Everybody go subscribe to Matt. Great guy. Good running content, but just, a joy to watch for sure. Race thinks I've retired from the race. Well, that's okay. I get back a wrench, so it's okay. Well, with Matt out, it looks like it may just be Ashley and Byron here holding down the fort. So if either of you have not yet hit the thumbs up button, please do. I'm probably going to take off relatively soon because I got a few things I want to do before Jamie gets home. And she did just text me, but it's on the phone that I'm streaming from, so I can't text her back. But yeah, we've got some plans to kind of stay up a little bit late tonight and watch a movie and stuff because we want to get some extra sleep and then go to the drive-in tomorrow night. So that'll be fun. We're going to go watch Grease tomorrow night on the drive-in big screen. And while that's not my favorite movie in the world, I think it is pretty cool to be able to go and, watch older movies on the big screen, especially since the theaters aren't open yet. Or I think maybe they are with some safety precautions, but they're only playing older movies too. I thought Dan Runs might have dropped by. Dan's another guy. Look, if you guys haven't checked him out, go check out Dan. Just a great guy. Deserves way more of an audience than he has. Another vegan runner that puts out quality content, quality workout videos, training videos, and just just a really likable guy. So yeah, well, again, it is late over there in the UK, so I mean I appreciate you being here, Byron, but some folks like to sleep. He might have a run in the morning as well, so. But, okay, well, I think that I will probably just call it there then. Looks like things are winding down a little bit, and that's okay, because, like I mentioned, I got a few things I want to do before Jamie gets home. Um, but yeah, well, thanks for popping by, Byron. I appreciate the fact that you have come in here and stayed up so late. You're about to watch Scream 2. Went to see it in cinemas at 97 and 20 years old. Okay, so you've given away your age. That means you are 43 years old. That's okay. I'll be 37 in a week. I don't feel it. I still feel like a teenager. Yes, Dan did a half marathon today. That's right. So he'll be sleeping well tonight. Scream 2. Yeah, I remember watching those Scream movies, man. That was good. But, okay, well, I'm going to take off. Thanks again for popping by. I appreciate your guys' supports. Ashley, Byron, you guys are OGs here on this channel, so thanks. I always appreciate you popping by. I'm going to call it a night, and I will see you in the next one. Cheers.